Hello, welcome to the Skies and Currents podcast. Today is Thursday, July 11th, 2024. I'm here with Christina, and we're going to talk about maybe the week ahead, maybe more. We haven't quite landed. Something.
We don't know.
We're going to talk about something today.
We don't know. We don't know what's happening. Venus is opposing Leo. We feel weird. I feel weird. Tess. Actually, no. You said you
Oh,
feel
yeah, I feel
a
weird.
little weird too.
Yeah. I'm in a
Yeah,
foggy sort of a day.
we've been in this sort of like uh, Pluto moment. I feel like last week, Mercury had his first opposition to Pluto in Aquarius, and Venus had her first opposition. Well, actually, it's just starting now. So today's Thursday, the 11th, July 11th, and Venus moved into Leo this morning at like 9 a.m. So she's like gonna be, I think her opposition to Pluto will go exact tomorrow, Friday, but it's warming up. It's warming up.
Hmm.
I feel like I'm getting sucked into the underworld a little bit. um so yeah, I don't know. It was like a really blissful week. Yeah, yesterday I felt really nice. And I was like, oh, I feel so good. And then today I realized Venus was just conjoining my sun yesterday. So I got a very specific Venus blessing yesterday. And now she moved quickly on from my sun to Pluto. So I'm like, damn it. Lord of the Underworld, what do you want with me now?
Whatever it is, it's going to feel very high stakes.
Yeah. It does feel high stakes. I don't even know why. I was in the middle of a reading today and I felt like, I don't know, it just felt so intense. And like, sometimes you do readings where you're just like, oh man, I don't want to discourage anybody, you know? So you're like trying to really find a way to make certain placements productive and to talk about them with someone when they've had such an intense life experience that is perfectly described by the placement. Sometimes it can feel really good. Like people will feel like, oh, that's why, you know, I feel this way, or, you know, this describes my experience so specifically that I feel validated.
Hmm.
Um, but sometimes it just feels like you're almost describing something that they're so familiar with um, that I don't know, it can feel discouraging or something, or I don't want to feel like I'm discouraging them. So you're always trying to find ways to suggest how the placement could be flipped, you know, or the strengths of the planet could
Hmm.
get highlighted, and you know, some of the stuck behaviors could get untwisted. But it's really hard. I think
Hmm.
this is why I want to become a therapist, because I'm like, I want to have more tools to actually help people
Yeah.
with the stuff as opposed to just pointing it out, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
So
It is a weird, it's like a weird dynamic, um, as like a divinator person.
yeah.
It's like, whatever, the many different varieties that they come in because, uh, some folks go the harsh route,
Right.
right? They just kind of say it very plainly. Um, and that can be really helpful, or it can be, really devastating. It really depends on the kind of clientele. And then,
Yeah.
but then I've also been with people that have kind of gone into a very, very broad sort of everything is positive, everything is good, only highlighting the really good things. And that's not terribly helpful
Useful at all.
either.
Yeah, gives us all a bad reputation.
So,
Thanks, guys.
right. So it can be really, yeah, so it's challenging to figure out what your personal style is and what you value. And I mean, I really enjoy how I'm doing readings now. But when I first
Mm-hmm.
started, I was just kind of leaving it open to people, whatever they wanted to talk about.
Right.
Um, and my personal interest in the way that my talent developed around my skill set was because of, what I was interested in is not what most people were
Right.
really that excited to talk about.
Uh,
I was like, I don't really care about what's going to happen. I don't care about
yeah.
stuff. Like, I don't care about romantic relationships very much. Like, I
Yeah.
appreciate the ones that I've had, but it's not like a point of interest for me. So, which is, I've just cut off 75% of what people usually want to talk about. I'm like, I really want to talk about trauma. You want to talk about
Yeah.
trauma? I'm real good at that. And yeah, what else do I enjoy talking about? Oh, and I guess like what can you do now to kind of change the future? Again,
Right.
very unpopular among clients looking for
You would think that
divination.
would be the
Just
most
incredibly,
popular.
incredibly not what most people are looking for when they come to me. So it was a point of, and I don't mind answering other kinds of questions as, that are helpful, and I don't mind doing my best to look at that stuff. And I want people to be really successful in their
Yeah.
relationships and their careers and their lives. So I do care about individual people's experience of that. It's just the
Right.
subjects aren't as like gripping
Yeah.
for me. Uh,
Tess is like, let's dig deep into your childhood trauma.
I'm like, I can see the whole thing, man. I know exactly how this happened.
Yeah.
Not to freak you out or
Oh, such
anything.
fun. Such
But
fun.
I know
Yeah.
the nightmare that you have been avoiding through all things.
Tess is like,
We can
would
just
you like to do some really
we can
hard
just
spiritual
do
work
we
to
can just
fix
do
some of
right
this?
there. Yeah, I'm like I also got a set of severe austerities we could do. Yeah, it's
Oh,
not the
man.
most fun. So yeah, so I absolutely so appreciate and adore when people come to me. So I'm not saying that I don't want anyone to come to me, but I also have to recommend that Christina is excellent at readings, and you should consider seeing Christina for readings and for divination advice because you're really good at it, and you're also very good at adapting the reading to what people are looking for over a very wide range of subjects. I've seen you do it with a lot of different things. So,
Well, thank you.
mhm.
Um, yeah, it's definitely taken a long time to get there, but readings are not nearly as challenging as I used to find them. Now it's like, oh, all right, how did the wheel get twisted for you? you know, it's just, I don't know. I guess it's good. It's starting to become more and more second nature,
Mhm.
but sometimes it still gets really intense.
Oh yeah.
Like today, when Venus is opposing Pluto, trying to drag up all of our traumas and our relational sadnesses and our fears. Thanks, Pluto. Fuck you too. um, but I don't know. It's okay.
I know. I almost feel like there's also like a the kind of clientele that you attract. It's you're almost never going to be like someone who's like, yeah, everything's fine and I don't have any real feelings about my life and I'm just
Yeah.
going to keep doing what I've been doing. The kind of folks that show up are usually people that are grappling with
I was
reality, which is the
I
kind of
was
person that I
talking.
like to be around. So,
Yeah. No, yeah, people grappling with reality only. Thank you very much. I was recently at a astrology conference, and I was talking to someone. Someone was relaying a story to me about someone they knew who had gotten a reading, and someone they knew who was giving a reading, and it just like went totally sideways. And I think they were like really harsh with the client, um, like shutting down an inquiry.
mm,
Like the client wanted to I don't know, wanted to know about a relationship or something like that. And I think the astrologer was like, no. That is not going to happen. Not in this life, not ever. Like, stop asking me about it. And
Well,
I think the client went like kind of ballistic and started like contacting the astrologer over and over again and like, you know, saying that the astrologer ruined their life and all of this stuff and was getting super aggressive. And I was like, yeah, man, you just have to have like a certain kind of antenna for those kinds of clients. I really don't get them very frequently. I've probably only had a handful. I've been like very lucky and protected. But when you get like a crazy client that just wants you to say
mhm.
what they want to hear, it's like something goes off inside me. I just like pull way back and everything is becomes very general. I'm like, well, you're a Sagittarius, so you're optimistic and take the optimistic route, you know? Like you get like spooked or something, or I get spooked and then I just pull back and I stop giving them any real information because it's too scary.
Well, I mean, honestly, probably prudent, not just,
Yeah,
smart.
not just
Because,
self-protective.
well, because it's also an indication that that information is like, somehow harmful to them too,
Right.
you know. So probably smart to
To pull back.
move
At least
back
with
into the
astrology,
back into the ocean, move back into the
yeah.
ocean.
Just succeeding to start rowing the boat back.
You're
Oh,
like, okay, we're not going down
back.
any streams. We tried streams. We're heading toward Big River, from Big River to the sea. That's where we're going.
At least with astrology, there's a lot of terminology and a lot of like pop cultural sensations around it. So if you need to retreat, there's so much like garbage you can just retreat into. You're just like, oh yes, let's just talk about Sagittarius for a half an hour and all the Sagittarius tropes, or talk about Cancer, and then, you know, just like just a lot of filler material that you can default to if someone's crazy. But again, I've been very lucky and I've had like a lot of very yeah, engaged in reality clients.
Hmm. Yeah, it's something, yeah, definitely better as I've gotten older.
Right.
Um, I mean, I guess very small percentage, I guess. Like I've had, those experiences and they really do stand out because sometimes it is very kind of impactful and alarming. And it was weird. I had this whole thing because I don't use astrology and I'm, intuiting somebody. I had this idea that it was and I still have this idea. It's not like I got rid of it, but it was like disrespectful or rude to pry beyond what somebody wanted me
Mm,
to see. So I would always just kind of filter out, I'm not just like scanning, reading everybody, peering into your secrets all the time because I don't feel like that's kind, you know, or, why would I do that anyway? So even with clients, I'm like, okay, let's just talk about what you want to talk about. I'm not going to peer into anything else. But then I had somebody who probably had some pretty severe mental illness that I really should have picked up on.
uh, looked farther behind the veil. Yeah.
And I didn't. And so it kind of left me feeling conflicted. And then that's when I kind of changed the way that I structure my readings and the way that I presented my readings. And, this is what I want to be doing and be talking about. And um, inspired me to really set some better boundaries than I had up
That's
until
so
that point.
fascinating. Well, because I just look at the chart, right? So all the information is just in front of me. So I don't have that issue, right? Like I'm just decoding the information that is written down. And I have a little bit of intuitive capacity, so I can see, maybe look
Hmm.
at certain things that present some certain questions that are presented in the chart, but you really have to like consciously decide what you're going to look at. Like you have to zoom in and out or zoom in deeper. That's wild. That's That's a hard work test.
And all I'm interested in is like Saturn and Pluto shit. That's all I want to look at. That's all I want to talk about. That's all I get really excited about. But it is nice now because a lot of the clientele I have there, it's a lot of it is about your spiritual progress and your
Yeah.
spiritual work and how it's going and what it looks like and how to further develop it um and I've also been lucky that most everybody that I work with now is also very down to earth about it and very kind-hearted and um they've really incorporated that, even if not directly, like that kind of presence of bodhicitta, presence of compassion, presence for understanding the connection between everybody, because that's not a given um, in this world at all. A lot of
Right.
people are just like, am I powerful yet?
Yeah.
How powerful? How special? See anything else special about me? And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
everyone is. You're awesome. You're doing great. But it's nice that I don't have clients that,
Yeah.
I get to have some really fun and interesting conversations with people because they're, more open to the whole thing.
I remember one time you wrote like a manifesto about intuitive readings.
Oh
Remember
no.
laughing
Oh
so
my
hard
gosh,
because
gosh, what did I say?
you
It's
were
been
like,
conflict for me so long. I could have said so many bad things.
no, you didn't say anything bad, but
Oh, okay.
you did say, like, in a very nice way, you're like, don't ask, you didn't say this exactly, but the gist was don't ask the reader if you're special. Everyone's special. You're special, okay?
Or no, no,
Everyone
I
wants to
think,
know if you're special.
right, everyone wants you, and it's like either you are special or no one's special. Or like we are
Yeah,
all equally special. Um,
it's true. It was very funny. It made me laugh out loud.
and
Um,
I mean, not to be boastful, but I really can see pretty deep into people. And yeah, equally
I know.
special. Equally special, I swear to God. On the surface, we all have, things we're better at, things we're working with, and like that can all look
Right.
different. But the deeper you go, the more equal and the more special.
Mm. If we could just get deeper. It's hard.
That's what Pluto's for.
No, 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 Tess. It's a terrible process. I don't like it. Um, okay, wait 1 second.